Hey guys, Coach Nick here. So I decided this is lesson 5 on scalability or modifications. The workout that I chose, I was up for the challenge, we'll see if I get it right, was 2 rounds of a 600-meter run, 20 burpees over the bar, 20 squat cleans at 115.75, and then 20 strict handstand push-ups. And what I did is some quick basic math on my versions of what these should be to get a stimulus. I put that stimulus right around the 15 to 18 minute mark, with things being sub 14 for those who are really fast and capping it at 20 for people to get the appropriate version. Where I got that from real quick, 600-meter run, about 90 seconds per 400, so about 2:15 on the fast end with a little bit of buffer time. 20 burpees over the bar, about 15 burpees a minute, pretty strong pace for somebody under fatigue. So I put a little bit of buffer time in there, 1:15 to 2 minutes. And then the squat cleans, I mean, if people can get them unbroken, but they might break them up and have some recovery. So more like a minute, minute and a half. And as they get slower, 2:30. And then the strict handstand push-ups, if you get a stud who can do them unbroken, definitely under a minute, right? More like 30, 40 seconds. But most people are going to have to partition a workout like this, maybe 1 or 2 sets on the first round. So I gave them a little bit of buffer time, 1 to 2 minutes here. At least the athletes in our gym. Relative to what we want. So again, sub 14 possible. I think even sub 12, some real studs. But for our class, I would put it in the 15 to 18 minute time frame, cap it right around there. And what I did with each one is came up with a beginner, intermediate, and injury for each exercise movement here. So I don't even know how well I am on screen, but pretty much for the run, the beginner, cut the distance, but keep the time domain the same. So maybe it takes them 300 meters. Intermediate, 400-meter run, a little bit of a stronger runner, should cover the same distance, but maybe more like a 10-minute miler. And then injury, I would C2 bike times 2. I love the C2 if you have them because the cadence, the neuromuscular pattern of 90 beats per minute can maintain. It's lower body dominant, just like running. You don't get the impact, but that's why they're injured. So C2, double the distance, so I'd make that a 1,200-meter bike. For the burpees over the bar, in the beginner option, I would do burpees in place. And depending on the athlete, I might cut the volume a little bit. 20 burpees for a veteran versus 15 for somebody new might be about the same time domain. So I just do burpees in place and not worry about that extra object stepping over something or slowing down their time, more concerned with their capacity. For intermediate, they could step over the bar. Burpees, keep the number 20 and burpees, step over the bar, burpees, step over the bar at a vigorous pace. For a lower body, a couple of options toying with here, creative. If you have med balls, you can do a med ball slam so that a large load travels a long distance like the burpee would. If their leg was bum, or they could keep it a little bit stiff, or maybe they just can't squat low. If it's an upper body injury, again, I would maybe do a push-up today. It still has that press off the floor. They can't get up and down. Sorry, if this was a lower body injury and this was an upper body, a little typo there. But so that way they get some of the stimulus. The reps might be the same at about 20 there. Just again, burpee can be creative. You could also just throw them on a machine like a skier. I love that in terms of if it's a lower body extremity. Get some core, get some hip flexion in there, get some standing up to replace the burpee. For the squat clean, you can, again, in a beginner, scale the weight and the volume a little bit, maybe trim that down to 15 reps or just go with a lighter load. Intermediate, just trim the weight back, very clean one. For the lower body extremity, maybe I'll have them do like something like if they can't squat for the day, maybe, but they can power. They could do a heavy power clean with a little bit more weight because their range of motion isn't as great, the down, up, down. So they could power clean a little bit heavier, maybe go 135. If it's an upper body extremity, 1-arm dumbbell squat clean is probably where it's at. You could use a kettlebell too, depending on, but dumbbell is more user friendly. The strict handstand push-up, they could do anything from a strict shoulder press, but I'm going to say a knee pike handstand push-up on the edge of a bench or box. Intermediate could be a toe pike or a kipping handstand push-up. And then the upper body extremity would be 1-arm strict dumbbell press. If the other arm's in a sling or something like that. So those are my scalable options. I probably gave you more than one for each, but I hope within here it's pretty succinct. There it is.